Chapter 4 The Triforce. A lot of time passed, and so it was the second week of Julius in 1517. During that period of time, the Nin-ten forgave Andono and Bron and decided to get to know the rest of their classmates at Daranaka Academy. They all would wear the Academy's uniforms to class, except for the four princesses Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, and Kenza, who specifically requested to wear their dresses because they were royalty, and Mario and Luigi went ahead and followed along. Azalea's sister Angora informed her and her friends that she meant no harm, for she and Luxus experienced Daranaka before her. She was friends with Gian, Leanne, Hale, Corel, Kina, and Lorenza. Another group of girls decided to join them, including Cagliari, Bernia, Meridi, Vesalini, and Veldis, and a third group included Yahim, Yabieta, Eunice, Janet, Ella, and Lexus. They all went with the Nin-ten to hang out and have Dionius together, and whenever they got the chance between classes, they would form groups to study for upcoming assignments. Then they met a group of boys including Aso, Bado, Ando, and Lendo. Onoteno, Dinelis, Carlito, Nadan, and Devedos wanted to get involved, but they had other plans in mind. Unfortunately, the heroes were still in class with Brocus, Multus, and Zahn, but the professors found a way to keep them separated from the rest of the class to avoid any more trouble. After school let out one day, the Nin-ten met in the front yard to discuss their next mission. They were still unsure whether or not the Darinkan goddess was real, and they thought about asking some of the other students a few questions regarding her name. That gave them the idea to visit the temple, but no one was there at the moment. Before they departed for their homes, they all encountered a mysterious hero in the front yard, who traveled from a faraway island to Thedos as requested by one he was loyal to. He appeared unique to them, mainly because he had pointy ears and they did not. "You must be the 16 heroes of Thedos," the hero said. "Are you the ones who protected this place from danger?" "We are," Mario said. "Who are you?" "I'm Link," Link said. "Princess Zelda sent me here to find you. You guys look just like them." "Them?" Mario asked. "Them who?" "The giants," Link said. "There were 6 of them. They attacked our kingdom and left it to ruin, and we lost our most sacred treasure, the Triforce." "The Triforce? What's that?" Annalise asked. Link showed the Nin-ten the symbol on the back of his left hand. It consisted of 6 triangles. "Anyone who has been chosen by the goddesses should have the same mark," Link said. "Goddesses?" Mario asked. Mario checked the back of his hands. The same symbol was on his right hand. Luigi had it too, and so did Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, and Kenza. "It doesn't surprise me that they chose the 6 of you," Link said. "You all look just like the giants who attacked us after all. Every single one of you. Especially you, Mario. You look just like the one who defeated Zelda." "Does this mean that Nightmare Mario has returned already?" Annalise asked. "But we just defeated him," Mario said. "And you're saying he went to your kingdom not too long ago? How can this happen?" "He still must be out for you, Mario," Peach said. "But to go somewhere that's nowhere near you?" "Please, I beg you," Link said. "Come with me to Hyrule and see Princess Zelda. We really need help relocating the Triforce before the giants do." The Nin-ten complied. Hyrule was located on an island that was to the northwest of Phinleyan. It took Link several weeks to prepare to travel from there to Thedos. Before the Nin-ten went with him, they returned home to inform their guardians, gather their equipment, and change into their heroic gear. Thus did they depart, traveling from Thedos to Hyrule in 2 days. On the 3rd day, the Nin-ten was escorted by Link to the castle, but the scenery around them was in ruins. Trees were burned, houses were destroyed, walls were collapsed, people were in shock, even frightened at the sight of Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, and Kenza, but the temple that was beside the castle barely had any marks left on it. The heroes stopped by the temple, and Zelda was there. She stood on a 6-triangle symbol that matched what Link showed that was in the center of 6 colorful panels around it. One was red, one was green, one was pink, one was yellow, one was blue, and one was orange. Each panel also had a statue of a mysterious figure against the walls adjacent to them. The princess carried a shining bow as she was mourning over the loss of the Triforce, but her mood was brightened when she saw Link arrive with the Nin-ten. She, too, had pointy ears, and she appeared as a divine figure compared to any image of Darinka in Thedos. "Princess," Link said, We have guests. Zelda looked at the Nin-ten and noticed Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, and Kenza immediately. They didn't harm her like she thought, and so she knew Link brought to her the right group of people. They all introduced themselves and asked a few questions about the place. Zelda even showed them the Triforce mark on the back of her right hand. Salatatis Ali, welcome to Hyrule, Zelda said. This is our sacred temple of the 6 goddesses who created the Triforce. Zelda turned and faced the wall behind her. There was a podium where the real Triforce was supposed to stand. The statues in the room were most likely to be the goddesses of the corresponding Triforce pieces. The one who is on the bottom half of the Triforce in the center is Flora, goddess of kindness, Zelda said. Peach's hand lit up in pink, meaning that she was chosen by Flora. The one on the bottom right is Faror, goddess of courage, Zelda said. Luigi's right hand lit up in green, meaning that he was chosen by Faror. The top left is Anshi, goddess of loyalty, Zelda said. Kenza's right hand lit up in orange, meaning that she was chosen by Anshi. The bottom left is Nehru, the goddess of wisdom, Zelda said. Rosalina's hand lit up in blue, meaning that she was chosen by Nehru. The top right is Eri, the goddess of truth, Zelda said. Daisy's right hand lit up in yellow, meaning that she was chosen by Eri. Lastly, the top center is Din, the goddess of power, Zelda said. Mario's right hand lit up in red, meaning that he was chosen by Din. Yes, it's only natural, Zelda said. The 6 of you are the ones who will wield each part of the Triforce, which will amplify your powers in battle as long as you use them to support the elements it stands for. Not only that, but each of the chosen ones have a runner-up. Let's see who they are now. Suddenly, the rest of the Nin-ten also had the Triforce on the back of their right hands. Annalise's, Milanon's, Inaro's, and Josephina's didn't light up though. Azalea's was pink, Cornin's was green, Anilamis's was orange, Cassiela's was blue, Aaron's was yellow, and Nuta's was red. Perfect, Zelda said. I have a hunch that the Triforce scattered across the sea and landed in their original places. That tends to happen in case it is threatened here. These panels encircling me are warp panels that will take us to each of the Triforce's individual places of origin. I say that each of you should go through the warp panel that matches your color. The rest of you should stay here as we discuss what will happen after the chosen ones return. I knew it, Annalise said. I knew something else was out there. What do you mean? Zelda asked. Wait, no, don't tell me. Did you have to deal with the Darinkans? Yeah, about that, Annalise said. We actually got placed into their school against our will. I see, Zelda said. So, as the rest of your friends go and search for the Triforce, why don't you and your siblings tell Link and me more? I'm sure we can answer all of your problems. Annalise agreed. She, Milanon, Inaro, and Josephina conversed with Link and Zelda while the rest of the team split up. Peach went with Azalea, Luigi went with Cornin, Kenza went with Anilamis, Rosalina went with Cassiela, Daisy went with Aaron, and Mario went with Nuta. Are you sure these are safe? Luigi asked. What if we end up in the middle of nowhere? What if they malfunction and... Oh, shut up, Luigi, Mario said. If we want to answer our questions about the truth behind Finleya's faith, we don't have a choice but to go along with this, so stop asking dumb questions. I promise you that these are safe, Zelda said. They have never malfunctioned once, but if they do... Eek! Luigi said. Don't say that! I'm only joking, Zelda said. Gosh, if you don't have courage in this very temple, you might as well pack up and go home. Luigi sighed as he and the others used the warp panels to leave the temple. Princess Peach and Azalea stood upon the pink panel, which transported them to Lake Floria. The surrounding area seemed to have withered away. Trees were poisoned, and flowers were dried. Every plant that was infected was covered in toxic weeds. There were even some of Bowser's minions wandering about. There was nothing wrong with the lake, for it was sparkling pink over the crystal-clear waters. What happened here? Azalea asked. There's no way the fiery giants could have caused this, Peach said. There is no trace of flame. In the distance was a small pink light that slowly approached Peach and Azalea. What's this? Peach asked. It is I, the goddess of kindness, Flora. Flora said. My powers have been absent for so long. Please, do me a kind favor and clear away those poisonous weeds. Peach began to use her pure magic she was gifted at birth. It barely affected the weeds, but healed the plants a bit. Azalea took up her bow and fired an arrow at the weeds, but it didn't affect them. So I wonder why the water is pure, Peach said. It looked like your powers could heal the trees and flowers, Azalea said. My arrows did nothing. Azalea, dip the tips of your arrows into the lake, Flora said. Thus Flora spoke, and Azalea dipped her arrows into the lake, making them sparkle pink. Then she fired at the weeds, eliminating them and the small ones close to them. Then Peach used her heart power to purify all of the flowers and trees. By the time all of the poison was gone, Flora's powers reawakened, and she appeared before Peach and Azalea in her glorious Hylian form. I never would have thought that anyone outside of Hyrule would respect us these days, Flora said. They all care for a false goddess now. What am I going to say to my family? Azalea asked. You don't have to say anything, Azalea, Flora said. Just take this with you and show it to them. Flora gave Azalea a pink bow with wind-tipped arrows, which included a hidden ability, Wind Arrow. Then she enhanced Peach's powers and gave her a parasol that she could use to glide and attack enemies up close. We also came here to find the Triforce of Kindness, Peach said. Do you know where it could be? Oh, yes, Flora said. I assume Zelda sent you here. Wait right there. Flora dove into the lake. Peach and Azalea both watched as she swam deep underwater before she rose to the surface with the Triforce of Kindness. It was a golden triangle bearing a pink heart-like image on it. She gave it to Peach. I saw it fall into the lake, purifying its water that was also cursed by the poison. Flora said, You must be Peach, the princess of the Mushroom Kingdom. I chose you to be the hero of kindness because of the caring heart you have for your people to protect them from the Darinkans. And Azalea, even if you are shy in public, you are still a very nice person. Peach and Azalea thanked the goddess, and she helped them return to Hyrule. From a distance, a giantess bearing Peach's image saw them disappear, and she seemed bummed. Luigi and Cornin stood upon the green panel, which transported them to Faron Woods. A treacherous storm made its way above them, consisting of high wind speeds, excessive rain pours, and rapid lightning bolts. Both boys took cover under a small dirt hut while trying to figure out where to find the Triforce of Courage. I get how insane this weather is, Cornin said, but I just don't understand why the Darinkans hate small showers so much. If it's that bad, Luigi said, then a storm like this would send them into a crisis. So what are we supposed to do about it? Cornin asked. How can we find the Triforce of Courage in this? Luigi looked around, but he could barely see above the trees that were intensely pushed around by the fast winds. However, he could see a green beacon close by, which seemed to be where the Triforce of Courage was located. We might have to make a run for it, Luigi said. Luigi and Cornin stepped out of the hut and beelined for the green beacon. The winds barely pushed them, but they were soaking wet from the rain. Even the few Koopas lurking in the woods were carried around by the wind. Lightning struck in numerous places, including the bolts that caused trees to collapse right in front of Luigi and Cornin. Oh dear, Luigi said. Just go over it, Cornin said. The area around the beacon had no storm clouds. When the two boys made it, they had a moment to catch a breath. Even a green light approached them to see how they were doing. It was Faror. Once she revealed her true form, Luigi and Cornin were shocked. You two must be the ones sent by Zelda from Hyrule, Faror said. It's Luigi and Cornin, correct? Are you a real goddess? Cornin asked. As in, not the one the Darinkans worship? Yes, I'm the goddess of courage, Faror said. And no, I'm not Darinka. I'm Faror. Do you know where the Triforce of Courage is? Luigi asked. Yes, I saw it land right here. So I asked for a storm to be cast around it so that no evil forces could lay hands on it, Faror said. The fact that you two were able to make it impresses me. Faror turned and stood underneath the green beacon. She dug through a pile of leaves and picked up the Triforce of Courage, and she gave it to Luigi. It was a golden triangle bearing a green spherical image on it. She also gave him a poltergust and enhanced his fire powers, as well as she gave Cornin a small steel sword and a blaster with a hidden ability, Green Blaster. Once the Triforce of Courage was in the right hands, the storm ceased. Do you need help returning to Hyrule? Faror asked. I can take you two back. As Faror helped Luigi and Cornin return to Hyrule, they both thanked her. A giant bearing Luigi's image saw the beacon disappear from a slight distance, and so he felt like he had failed. Princess Kenza and Anylamus stood upon the orange panel, which transported them to the Lanshisand Sea. There was a harbor on the island they were brought to, but the water surrounding it was flooded with sand. There was only one boat available, and the others were broken. What is this? Anylamus asked. Should we look around? Kenza asked. Besides the harbor, the island was deserted. Ahead, however, was a landmark with a glowing orange sparkle. As soon as Kenza and Anylamus boarded the only available boat, an orange light appeared and casted a spell, with a radius around the boat that made everything from sand to greenery and water. Huh? Kenza asked. Did the sand just... Kenza and Anylamus, the orange light said. I have waited for you. The orange light was Anshi. Wait, Anylamus said. Are you... Yes, Anshi said. It's Anshi, goddess of loyalty. So we were right the whole time, Anylamus said. The Darinkan goddess truly is false. Seriously? A goddess who defies nature? Anshi asked. Such a thing truly can't exist. Anyway, did you two come here for the Triforce of Loyalty? Were you sent here from Hyrule? Yes, Kenza said. Is that where that orange sparkle is? I would think so since I saw it land over there, Anshi said. That is the pirate stronghold, where the ancient sailors used to meet in the honor of the sea gods. However, since all groups diminished, the gate has been sealed shut, and only I can open it. But the desert sea is what stands between me and it. Would you two be willing to take me over there? If so, I will open the gate for you, giving you access to the Triforce of Loyalty. Thus Anshi spoke, and Kenza and Anylamus obeyed. They took up 2 oars that were provided on the boat and set sail for the pirate stronghold. By the time they departed from the island, the spell radius revealed Cheep-Cheeps and Bloopers that were underwater. Some of them spotted the boat, and a Cheep-Cheep tried to jump onto it, but Kenza dropped her oar into the boat, drew a sword, and knocked it off the boat. Watch yourselves, Anshi said. They must be after me. Anylamus, pick up the other oar and continue to row the boat. Kenza, defend the boat with that sword of yours. Anylamus obeyed and picked up the other oar, gaining full control over the boat. Kenza held her position with sword in hand. More Cheep-Cheeps and some Bloopers tried to jump onto the boat, but Kenza fended them off. There were even some rocks above the surface, so Anylamus had to steer the boat and dodge them. They were completely clear for a while, which meant that they made it past the hardest part and arrived at the pirate stronghold. Anylamus then set the oars down, and she and Kenza dismounted the boat and set foot onto the shore. Anshi joined them after she deactivated the spell and turned everything back to sand. She went before them and used her powers to open the gate, thus revealing her true form. Before anyone entered the stronghold, Anshi gave Kenza a bow and arrows and boosted her sword's power, and she gave Anylamus a new set of orange gauntlets with a hidden ability, Iron Fist. Thank you for lending a hand, Anshi said. Wait here. Anshi entered the pirate stronghold and returned with the Triforce of Loyalty. It was a golden triangle bearing an orange bird-like image on it. She gave it to Kenza. Here, let me help you regroup with the rest of your friends, Anshi said. Anshi took Kenza and Anylamus back to Hyrule. A giantess bearing Kenza's likeness approached the pirate stronghold, and as she looked at it and noticed that the orange glow wasn't there anymore, she sighed in defeat. Princess Rosalina and Cassiella stood upon the blue panel, which transported them to the Lanayru Desert, the only landmark located on the Phinleyan mainland. There were dead trees and ruins all around, but one of the distant ruins glowed in blue. Rosalina and Cassiella approached it, but there was no way in. There was, however, a sound of something breaking through a pile of rocks. The 2 girls found the source of the noise, took the rocks, and threw them aside, revealing a blue light. It was Nehru. Who's there? Nehru asked. Who has found me? It's Rosalina, Rosalina said, and Cassiella. Rosalina? Cassiella? Nehru asked. Those names sound awfully familiar. Hold up. There's no way. You 2 are the chosen ones, are you not? Yes, we are, Cassiella said. Who are you? Oh, thank the heavens, Nehru said. I thought the day would never come. It is I, Nehru, the goddess of wisdom. How did you end up under all of this rubble? Rosalina asked. I saw the Triforce of Wisdom land here, Nehru said. I tried to go and get it, but I got stuck. Thank you for freeing me. Cassiella looked into the hole Nehru got stuck in. It looked like it was still going on. She tapped on Rosalina's shoulder and let her know about it. Nehru went into the hole to see how far it went. "Follow me, girls," Nehru said. Cassiela tried to enter the hole, but she slipped and started sliding. Rosalina saw her slide and followed her. The slide ended as the two bumped into a column that lit up as it was in contact with their feet. It had a certain radius that made everything return from ruin and reveal hidden platforms. Rosalina and Cassiela both stood up and saw that the column was attached to a rail, and it started to move until it hit a wall that only appeared when it was activated. "You may need to jump across the platforms and escort the column to the end," Nehru said. "It should be able to open a passage to the Triforce of Wisdom." Cassiela went to the left side of the platforms, and Rosalina went to the right. Before the column was turned on, it was blocked by several roots, which disappeared when it lit up, enabling it to move. Cassiela shot at the column with her blaster to turn it off, and the wall that was blocking it disappeared so that it could continue. Then it stopped again when it hit a few rocks, meaning that it needed to be turned on again. The column also affected the platforms Rosalina and Cassiela jumped across. When the column was turned off, the hidden walls and platforms would disappear, but roots, rubbish, and thorns appeared. When it was turned on, hidden walls and platforms reappeared, and the roots, rubbish, and thorns disappeared. Cassiela continuously shot at the column to turn it on and off, helping it, her, and Rosalina make it to the other side. Eventually, the column was docked at the other side, where it stopped moving and revealed an open gateway when it was turned on. When it was turned off, the gateway was blocked off by a pile of rocks. Rosalina and Cassiela made their way through, and Nehru revealed her true form as she stood at the open gateway. As a reward, she gave Rosalina a wand and boosted her spin powers and gave Cassiela a new blue blaster with a hidden ability, Charged Blast. "It's hard to believe how well you managed that," Nehru said. "This can only mean that you are prepared for what's next." Nehru escorted Rosalina and Cassiela past the gateway and stopped in front of the Triforce of Wisdom. It was a golden triangle bearing a blue three-orbed image on it. She picked it up and gave it to Rosalina. "Now," Nehru said, "I believe it is time for you to return to Hyrule to regroup with your allies." Nehru took Rosalina and Cassiela back to Hyrule. A giantess in Rosalina's likeness approached the ruins, and they stopped glowing blue before she could touch it. She didn't feel good about it. Princess Daisy and Aaron stood upon the yellow panel, which transported them to the Tueri Sanctuary. They were right next to the gate, which was glowing yellow, but it was locked. As the two looked around for a key, even though they couldn't leave without falling off a cliff because they were on a tall spire, a yellow light appeared. It hovered over a tile in the ground. There were a few on the ground in front of the gate, drawing the attention of Aaron and Daisy. "That's weird," Daisy said. The tile that the light was hovering over was the only tile that wasn't at all covered by the dirt, nor was it shattered or cracked. It was a teal color, while the others were either tan or a darker blue. Aaron tried to examine the tile before he realized that it was movable. He moved it to the right, and there was a secret staircase below the ground. Then the light circled around him, for it was Airy. "Who needs a key to the gate when this is here?" Airy asked. "This will take you straight into the chamber where the Triforce of Truth was once hidden." "Oh, that's really helpful," Daisy said. "Say, are you a goddess?" "Indeed I am," Airy said. "My name's Airy, Goddess of Truth." "So will this really take us straight there?" Aaron asked. "It will take you straight to the chamber," I said, Airy said. Airy went down the steps. Daisy and Aaron looked at each other and shrugged before following her. Once they made it to the bottom of the staircase, they saw a gap between them and another side, which was filled with magma that rose and sank over time. There were platforms available to make it across, but the dark-colored ones were submerged in magma as it rose. Airy waited on the other side and revealed her true form. "I saw the Triforce of Truth return here," Airy said. "Prove to me that you are worthy of possessing it by making it over this magma. Watch your step." Daisy and Aaron started the course when the magma was at its minimum. When it started to rise, they quickly went to the brightest platforms, which were also the highest elevated above the magma. Some of them were out of reach, and Daisy used her flower power to run faster in patches of flowers that also marked safe platforms, giving herself a running start to jump farther and reach them. Meanwhile, Aaron used his crossbow to fire bolts at platforms that were covered in piles of dust, revealing their actual colors to determine whether or not they were safe. Once they both made it all the way across, Eri went to search through a pile of crates until she picked one up and set it down in front of them. "This should be the one," Eri said. "You two surprised me." Eri opened the crate, and the Triforce of Truth was inside. It was a golden triangle bearing a yellow flower-like image on it. She gave it to Daisy, along with a power boost and a parasol. Then, she gave Aaron a yellow crossbow with stun bolts and a hidden ability, Stun Bolt. "See?" Eri asked. "Who needs a key to the gate whenever this is here? Will you be able to help us get back to Hyrule?" Aaron asked. "Oh, yes. Hang tight," Eri said. Eri took Daisy and Aaron back to Hyrule as a giantess in Daisy's image approached the sanctuary's gate. The moment she realized that it wasn't glowing, she pouted in defeat. Mario and Nuta stood upon the red panel, which transported them to Elden Volcano. They appeared at an open gate into an arena, and there was a red beacon right above the summit. Inside the arena was a horde of Bowser's minions, and the gate shut after Mario and Nuta went inside. "It's blazing in here," Nuta said. "It's a volcano," Mario said. "What did you expect?" The first wave consisted of Goombas and Koopa Troopas, meaning that Mario and Nuta had to engage in battle. There were 4 of each, and a red light appeared before the second wave appeared. It was Din. "Wow, you guys put up quite a fight," Din said. "Keep it up." "Who's that?" Nuta asked. "Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt," Din said. "No, wait," Mario said. "It's you. You're the goddess Zelda mentioned." "How'd you guess?" Din asked. "Oh, hang on. You're Mario, right?" "It's me, Din, the goddess of power." The second wave of enemies dropped in at that moment. 2 more Goombas and Koopa Troopas entered the arena, along with 3 Hammer Bros and 2 Monty Moles. Mario was only able to attack using fire, and Nuta's ball barely had any speed or agility. However, the second wave was wiped out easily, thus bringing in a third wave consisting of Para-Goombas, Para-Troopas, Shy Guys, and Fire Bros. "These enemies are tough," Din said. "I haven't seen them around here until recently." Mario and Nuta swept through the third and final wave, thus allowing Din to reveal her true form. She escorted Mario and Nuta farther into the volcano until she found the Triforce of Power. It was a golden triangle bearing a red brand-like image on it. She picked it up and gave it to Mario, along with a power boost and a hammer. Then she turned and gave Nuta a red ball with a hidden ability, Agility. "Here, let me help you return to where you came from," Din said. "It was Hyrule, yes? I mean, where else?" Din took Mario and Nuta back to Hyrule. Nightmare Mario saw them as he peeked through the cracks in the volcano, and the red beacon disappeared. In a rage, he slammed his fist on the volcano, causing a rock slide. Only Annalise, Milonot, Inaro, and Josephina were forced to stay at the temple with Link and Zelda. They had already discussed the troubles they had gone through at Daranaka, but they were also curious about why they didn't go to find the Triforce with the others. "Yes, the light that guided you," Zelda said. "It was absolutely not Darinka. This is the light from a goddess who has been with our ancestors, but since the Darinkans took over, she hasn't been seen around here. So you all must be wondering why you all were told to stay here and wait for your friends," Link said. "Sure, you also bear the symbol of our treasure, but your purposes are unique." "Let's start with you, Josephina," Zelda said. "I can tell that you are still very young, and you don't have the confidence to fight against the same foes as your older siblings. All you have right now is a slingshot, yes?" "Yeah," Josephina said. "So why am I here too? Why was I forced to face the same troubles as my siblings when I'm only 6 years old?" "Well, you may not be able to battle offensively, but maybe you could hold a better position as a healer for the time being," Zelda said. "A healer?" Josephina asked. "Did you bring the slingshot with you?" Zelda asked. "Yeah?" Josephina asked. Josephina held her slingshot, seeming unsure, and Zelda changed its form and gave her new pellets, which had the power of healing. "These won't hurt anyone," Zelda said. "Therefore, you can shoot these at your allies to heal them." Josephina said. "It would also be a good idea to keep yourself covered," Zelda said. "The enemy's offensive lines can be quite extreme, and they'll most likely target the healers if they are left unguarded. That leaves the next roles to Milonot and Inaro. How do you two feel about battling defensively? How's that gonna work? Inaro asked. First off, take these, Zelda said. Zelda gave Milanon a newer green sword and gave Inaro a newer blue sword. Then, Link showed them a few techniques. You don't always need a shield to fight defensively, Link said. The defensive line is in charge of protecting specific units and/or ground. That doesn't sound so hard, Milanon said. I'll start training right away. Me too, Inaro said. Wait for me, Josephina said. Milanon, Inaro, and Josephina stepped outside, and Link went to keep an eye on them in case of any danger. Annalise was left in the temple with Zelda. So, I guess that leaves you, Zelda said. Where did you get that sword and shield? There was a ruined temple we passed by on our way to Daranaka Academy, Annalise said. Why? So, I guess you already got a boost, Zelda said. Would you like to know why you own those? What's so special about me? Annalise asked. And why did I have to stay here? Your mission is much tougher than the one I gave to those who went for the Triforce, Zelda said. You are the bringer of all justice. You will lead all of your allies to victory. It is your duty to return Thedos to its original state. In fact, not just Thedos, all of Phinleya. How am I supposed to do that? Annalise asked. You have a team with you, do you not? Zelda asked. Yeah, Annalise asked. It looks like the 6 goddesses trust your friends with our treasure, Zelda said. If that's so, then so do I. The Triforce shall be one of the building blocks to your quests. So, what shall be my role in battle? Annalise asked. You get to decide whether you shall battle offensively, defensively, or protected, Zelda said. You should also consider your team's balance based on battle roles. Annalise looked around the temple. Link said that the main reason why Hyrule lost the Triforce was because they failed to defeat 6 giants in battle, one of them being Nightmare Mario. The other 5, he said, bore the likenesses of Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, and Kenza. Even the remaining citizens of Hyrule had the same thoughts. The strangest thing was that, just recently, Peach brought up a similar topic in the Mushroom Kingdom. How did you lose the Triforce? Annalise asked. Oh, it was a horrible battle, Zelda said. Those giants. They came into our kingdom, and so I sent the royal guard to keep them out. But we were no match for them. Even the one who looks like Mario, he's the worst one. He's responsible for the Triforce's disassembly. I failed to defeat him in battle. Even though Link came to my aid in the end, there was nothing we could do. I thought we had lost everything, so Link left Hyrule to find all of you, for he believed that the goddesses we still cared about chose a specific group of people for this task. And yes, he was right. Nightmare Mario, Annalise said. He's the one who defeated you. So, do you know anything about the rest of them? Well, from what I've heard, these 6 giants were all created by Bowser using those who the goddesses chose as vessels, Zelda said. So, did you say the one who defeated me was Nightmare Mario? That's right, Annalise said. My friends and I beat him last month, but now that I'm hearing about this, he must still be out for more. A month ago, you say? Zelda asked. Then I guess he's on some sort of mission too. All I know is that he wants to eat Mario, Annalise said. Who knows? He could be after the rest of us now too. I see where you may think that, Zelda said. While Annalise and Zelda continued to converse, the 6 colorful panels began to glow. Those who departed for the Triforce all returned safely with a successful mission. Link heard the panels, and so he, Milanon, Inaro, and Josephina returned to the temple. Peach and Azalea returned with the Triforce of Kindness. Luigi and Cornin returned with the Triforce of Courage. Kenza and Anylamus returned with the Triforce of Loyalty. Rosalina and Cassiela returned with the Triforce of Wisdom. Daisy and Aaron returned with the Triforce of Truth. And Mario and Nuta returned with the Triforce of Power. 6 unfamiliar faces also returned with them, who were assumed to be the goddesses. No way! You all came back! Zelda said. Could it be? Link asked. Link and Zelda, Flora said. So much time has passed since we last visited this place. What happened to our temple? Pharaoh asked. It looks all torn up. Long story short, Zelda said, 6 giants from the Blood Moon attacked us, causing the Triforce to split again. Oh, did it now? Anshi asked. I never would have thought that they would actually come for it. Wait a sec, Annalise said. What do you mean by again? Has this happened before? Numerous times, Link said. Every time the Triforce is split, it returns to its place of origin. Last time, it was right after the 6 temples of these goddesses were reduced to ruin. It was a very traumatic day, Nehru said. Although I'm surprised that this one even still stands. It did catch fire, though, Zelda said, but it didn't last for too long. Well, that's good, Ares said. So this is the new team, huh? I like it. Yeah, and by the way, Din said, did anybody else notice the giants as they were on their way to retrieve the Triforce? They made it once it was already taken and as we were all leaving. Dang, then that must have been a dangerously close call, Mario said. Oh, yes it was, Din said. Nightmare Mario saw you. Then that can only mean one thing, Zelda said. The giants must be on their way here again. If that's the case, then we must train immediately, Link said. You all possess the Triforce now, but those of you who have been entrusted by the goddesses are the only ones who can actually use them. Should we try it out now? The Nin-ten agreed. They went outside to prepare for battle by training with Link and Zelda. Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, and Kenza were the only ones who could use the Triforce in battle, and every use had a certain cooldown. That was also how they could summon the goddesses in battle for a limited amount of time, who empowered them with a special move called a deity attack. You all fight well, Link said. No wonder the goddesses chose you. Impressive, Zelda said. I can already tell you're getting the hang of it. After the training session, the entire team regrouped and consulted. You 16 are the hopes of our homes, Link said. You have our permission to keep the Triforce with you at all times. With that, the goddesses may always be in touch with you, Zelda said. Anytime you need them, just let them know. Unfortunately, none of us are at our full potential yet, Din said. That is why we put our trust in you to help us return to normal. The 6 goddesses decided how they would stay with the Nin-ten but hide from the rest of society. Since the Triforce would be hidden on the backs of their right hands, so would they, as they would return to their light spirit forms. Peach, you must beware, Flora said. The giantess princess is now looking for you, and she is called Twilight Peach. Flora hid herself with the Triforce of Kindness, which was on the back of Peach's right hand. And Luigi, I must warn you too, Ferrer said. The giant who bears your likeness is Midnight Luigi, and he is after you now. Ferrer hid herself with the Triforce of Courage, which was on the back of Luigi's right hand. Kenza, you must know this, and she said. Moonlight Kenza is the giantess who bears your image, and she searches for you. And she hid herself with the Triforce of Loyalty, which was on the back of Kenza's right hand. And you, Rosalina, Nehru said. Your giantess doppelganger is Rosaluna, who is now on the lookout for you. Nehru hid herself with the Triforce of Wisdom, which was on the back of Rosalina's right hand. Daisy, just so you know, Ares said. Sunset Daisy, the giantess of your likeness, is searching for you now. Aerie hid herself with the Triforce of Truth, which was on the back of Daisy's right hand. Mario, you already know that Nightmare Mario is after you, Din said. He will not so easily give up. Din hid herself with the Triforce of Power, which was on the back of Mario's right hand. The 6 Triforce goddesses were officially companions of the Nin-ten. Before the Nin-ten decided to do anything else, they assembled the Triforce. It lit up throughout the entire kingdom as it rose into the air. The 6 goddesses then revealed themselves and laid their hands on the parts that they each created. This gave the people the motivation to repair the ruins and continue living as if the devastating attack never happened. The Triforce will soon create a signal, calling the giants here, Zelda said. Are you sure you are ready to fight them? The Nin-ten agreed, and the Triforce's beacon was created. Once the goddesses saw the flames of the 6 giants, they immediately brought the Triforce back down, disassembled it, and returned each piece to the chosen ones. The 6 giants warped back to Hyrule and approached the castle, shortly before they noticed the Nin-ten with Link and Zelda. Zelda called in the remains of her army and went to the back of the battlefield with Link. Milanon and Inaro stood in front of Josephina, like they did during their training session. Nuta, Cornan, Azalea, Aaron, Cassiela, and Anylamis stood around them, with Annalise in the very front, along with Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, and Kenza. On the opposing side, Nightmare Mario stood in front of Midnight Luigi, Twilight Peach, Sunset Daisy, Rosaluna, and Moonlight Kenza. Back already? Annalise asked. No wonder you don't give up so easily. You're one to talk, Nightmare Mario said. Not even your blow from last time could keep me down. Nightmare Mario, why did you all destroy this place? Mario asked. They attacked us as soon as we got here, Nightmare Mario said. Tell me you're feeling unwelcoming without saying it. Once we heard about the Triforce, we thought that it would help us defeat you. We were all so close, and yet you beat us to it. The lake was so easy to notice, Twilight Peach said. Who would have thought that the Triforce of Kindness was underwater? And that beacon in the woods, Midnight Luigi said. We have always had issues with making our way through trees. The sea made of sand is equivalent to quicksand, Moonlight Kenza said. How was I supposed to get across it without sinking? And then there's the ruins in the desert, Rosaluna said. That gap was way too small for me to enter. I have to agree, Sunset Daisy said. How was I supposed to enter that sanctuary through that little, squeezy, tight space you entered? You all were chosen to retrieve the culture of your homeland. Okay, we get it, Nightmare Mario said. But you don't understand how important our mission is. Oh, please, Mario said. This coming from the giant who wants to eat us all. You have caused nothing but destruction since we met. So speak, Mario, Nightmare Mario said. You are only here to get in my way of preventing destruction. This was the first battle with alternate allies, which were not controlled by the player. Link, Zelda, and the Hylian guards took their turns when the enemy began to strike. Milanon and Inaro defended Josephina as she healed those who were injured in battle. Soon enough, Bowser's troops entered the battlefield to attack all different forces. Ugh, not again, Nightmare Mario said. Annalise took over the full offensive ground while fending off Bowser's troops and staying close to Link and Zelda. Like Nightmare Mario, the fire giants were weaponless, and they only attacked by breathing and throwing flames. Azalea used her new wind arrows to slip up Twilight Peach so that Peach could use the Triforce of Kindness against her and defeat her. This was the gift of Flora, the goddess who has never been foul to any innocent soul. I see what you managed to take hold of there, Twilight Peach said. No wonder they picked you. Corrin used both his new blade and blaster against Midnight Luigi, catching him off guard so that Luigi could finish him, using the Triforce of Courage. This was a gift from Feror, the goddess who trembled before nothing. These are no ordinary humans, Midnight Luigi said. I wonder what makes them so special. Analibus put on her new gauntlets, which dealt more damage against common enemies, but she wouldn't have been able to stand a chance against giants without them. She sparred with Moonlight Kenza before Kenza came in with her bow and sword to defeat the giantess, with help from the Triforce of Loyalty. This was the gift of Anshi, the goddess who always put all others before herself. Darn, what kind of strength did they give you? Moonlight Kenza asked. You actually put up a fair fight. Castiella stood her ground while charging up her blasts, which left her vulnerable for the amount of time required to finish charging the shot. She fired as much as she could until Rosalina joined her, with the Triforce of Wisdom, to finish Rosaluna. This was a gift from Nehru, the goddess who never made any poor decisions. You wouldn't have stood a chance without help, Rosaluna said. That actually makes things more interesting for me. Aaron's stun bolts were able to keep Sunset Daisy in place, preventing her from being able to attack as much, thus giving Daisy the perfect opportunity to beat her with the Triforce of Truth. This was the gift of Aerie, the goddess who never once told a lie. What an interesting combo, Sunset Daisy said. Strong allies are the last thing I would expect from younger humans. Nuta excelled in her fighting skills as her ball was more agile, but she was still no match for Nightmare Mario. So she and Annalise decided to trade positions. Therefore, Annalise and Mario both faced off against Nightmare Mario, but this time Mario wielded a hammer that could be ignited to deal more damage, even though the giant was still not affected by his fire attacks. Something has changed since I was gone, Nightmare Mario said. I didn't expect you to advance so quickly. Looks like someone forgot to train for the next battle, Annalise said. Or at least I can't tell the difference. Nightmare Mario was insulted by what Annalise said. He breathed a massive fireball in a rage, and Mario reflected it by hitting it with his new hammer. This was the only time Nightmare Mario was ever harmed by fire, for the blast damaged him and prevented him from being able to attack again. Instead of finishing him off, Mario summoned the Triforce of Power, and Din spoke to him. This foe is a tough one, Din said. Assemble the Triforce immediately. Thus Din spoke, and Peach, Luigi, Kenza, Rosalina, and Daisy summoned their parts of the Triforce and lifted them into the air. The Triforce was assembled, and its light was cast upon the giants, Midnight Luigi, Twilight Peach, Sunset Daisy, Rose the Luna, and Moonlight Kenza were able to warp away from it in time, but Nightmare Mario was too weak to evade it. The light held him in place while trying to capture him. Thus the giant was sealed again, but this time he was sealed within Mario's spirit. Mario collapsed in exhaustion, for the process was painful for him. The Triforce was disassembled and distributed again. The battle was won. Tana and Shana waited at Daranaka Temple. They were talking to Andona and Braun about what they knew about Hyrule. Thus they conversed about their comparison with Thedos, which was when the Nin-ten safely made it back home with the Triforce, for Link and Zelda allowed them to keep it. Every member of the temple gathered everyone at Daranaka together, and they celebrated in the name of Darinka, for they believed that the Triforce was just another secret that wasn't featured in the Dirianis. The Nin-ten, however, gathered in private to shout their praises to Flora, Faror, Anshi, Nehru, Eri, and Din instead, who were the 6 goddesses they all met in person.